Hey guys and gals, let's take a look at what appears to be a modern beach house by LEGO Creator. This is set number 31153, and this set was provided by the LEGO Group for early reviews, so thank you kindly, LEGO. And from first impressions, this does look pretty interesting. So let's we get a 2 or maybe a 3-story house with various accessories, a small wading pool, and possibly at least 2 minifigures. And let's take a look at the back here, and seeing that it is a 3-in-1, we get to make it looks like some kind of a forest house. I like that rock facing, looks pretty cool. And some tower thing. And here's the inside of the main model. And yes, yeah, it's LEGO's famous open back specials. And doesn't look too bad, honestly. But of course, it's your typical white build. And that's pretty much what this is. So let's open up the box and see what is inside. I'm always curious to see exactly what kind of parts are in each set. So, well, let's see what kind of goodies are in here. Well, obviously we get the paper bags. That's cool. Anything else hiding in there? I don't see anything lurking in the box. Alright, so... oh, about time, like you had the 6 underlined. Sometimes I get confused. Looks like we've already seen 6 so far. Okay, we got 7. Like we have 8 bags and an envelope, probably with all the building guides. Now I'm still debating if I want to do all 3 models. If I do, the other 2 will be built on the second channel. We will see here. Always check these. I always use these for paperwork. Well, those will probably be used for like restaurant receipts or when I go out and buy things. Okay. Now, if you want to watch the unboxing on this, I know some of you have been asking about it. Sets this big, I like to unbox as while I'm building, so you can go to my second channel and take a look at that too. All right, let's see. I'm looking for the main building guide. There we go, right there. So. Looks pretty interesting. Let's see here. Does it jump right on in, or how does that work? Yeah, it just jumps right on. We just make our minifigures. Okay. And then we've got, looks like just a modern townhouse, and this is the forest mansion. That's not too bad. I'm going to head over to my second channel, build the main model. We'll come back and take a look. Here is the modern beach house all assembled, and it's a very interesting build. So here we have the front portion of the house. So we got ourselves a little lap pool, some palm trees. I do like these lamps here. Those are pretty cool. We got a place to sit, a little outdoor barbecue or a fire ring. And we got a pier. We got 2 minifigures, which is cool. And it looks like the structure is about 3 stories tall. And yeah, we got a bird up here. Now, here's the interior of it. So it's kind of like a dollhouse, and you can play inside of it and stuff like that. And we'll take a closer look at everything here in a few moments. Got the entryway, living room, small little kitchen, and upstairs we got a reading room, access to the balcony, bedroom, and a small little bathroom. And it looks like everything is scaled for figure, so I can easily reach my hand in here and move things around. Now here it's going to be a little tight, but here I can do that. You could reach comfortably about 6 to 7 studs, but way up here in these front windows, I'm having a hard time, like in the bedroom here. So this is probably meant for little hands. Here it's not too bad. Now I do like this chandelier. That's pretty cool. And that's pretty firm. That's not falling out. And it's not a really bad build. Well, let's take a closer look. Here's a close-up of our 2 minifigures, and they both have double-sided heads. I like the print work for the torsos. Nice place to sit. Here's a close-up of that lap pool. I don't know if this light's going to show it, but there are a lot of scratches on these window pieces. I don't know what LEGO's thinking with the packing, but we'll discuss that more in the review. Either that's a, a duck on the roof, or it could be a parrot. Got a nice little balcony there, and all the doors do open up. You just have to reach in. If you've got bigger hands, it makes it a bit challenging. The windows are all snotted together, or studs not on top, so they're built sideways. Really cool. Alright, now we're going to go into the inside. I like this overhang here, that's pretty cool. And that's essentially what the inside is. Here's the entry point. Got a cozy kitchen here off to the left. On the right we have a little living room or sitting area. We got a little guitar. Lots of windows with lots of scratches. On the second floor we got a little bedroom. Bit cozy. We've got a rubber duck in there too. And there's the bathroom with the very rough rock facade. I think that's a bathroom. I'm not sure what that is. It could be. And there's a shower head there. There it is. Maybe it's one of those rain shower ones. Now honestly, the furnishings in this house are a bit lacking, except for here in the living room, but this looks like some sort of reading room. I like those bookshelves. Those are pretty cool. And the plants. I like that chandelier. That's really nice. As you can tell, all the rooms are playable. There's access to all the interior spots. This is a nice set for play. The review is going to be pretty interesting, but we're going to start with build quality, and for the most part it's a pretty sound build. I did have a few issues with placing these chairs, and these flowers are pretty delicate. Sometimes those will actually come off the stem. The palm trees are not too bad, but they just feel kind of flimsy, but I didn't really have anything fall off on the model, so that's pretty good. Build experience is another issue. Now, it kept my interest throughout the build, but I think mostly it's just the white color. It just seems a bit on the bland side. There is pops of color like the green trees and the flippers and some of the siding on the house, but it's just the main color of it is white. I don't know, it's just not really a good color for this, but for the build experience, for the most part my retention was pretty good with the build. It just kept my interest throughout the whole construction process. And as we saw, there is plenty of play value. You have the pool, you have access to all the exterior stuff, and the interior rooms. So there's just full access. This is meant to be played with. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is that this thing's a bit on the big side to pick up. You got to be careful. You don't want to pick this up in certain areas. So the best thing is to keep this on a flat surface, because some of this, like the pool, you don't want to pick it up by the trees or up here. You got to pick it up from the bottom. So you're going to have to scoop it up. But nonetheless, it is a nice model at that. Now, the set does come with a lot of good pieces to build other mocks, so I'm sure that the parts in the modern beach house could be used for other creations. In addition, if one wanted to, you could get another model and just make a mirror image of it and just put the two together and have a full complete house. But for me personally, it is good as is. You could just make a back with your own pieces if you choose. So there is some potential with this. Could it be dropped in a Lego City? Not in its current state. You'd actually have to finish up the back to do so. But I can see this being sitting on maybe a shoreline. It would look really good. It's the nice size, the right height for a Lego City. So this would fit with the Lego City theme. Now, for the score, and sadly I had to do it, it's a 3.4. Why such a low score? First off, there is some fragile pieces that did come off and stuff like that. It was missing one part, which was just a 1x2 flat tile. No biggie there. The main thing I'm dinging off is scratched pieces. This one here was a winner with that one. Almost every one of these window pieces had a lot of deep scratches. And I'm hoping they show up on the close-up tours. But there was just so many pieces that were scratched and pitted. It felt like it was a used set. And honestly, it seemed like Lego did not care how the set was packed. They just threw it in a couple of bags and say, here you go. And I understand, I know some throw these things around and stuff like that. But for me being a collector, I don't really want to see parts that are just heavily scratched or pitted. So all these window pieces are pretty much... Somebody lost their cherries. Pretty much scratched, and there's no way to really clean those up. So 3.4 is the score. But the good thing is it does come with a brick separator. It does have 3 printed building guides, but I can't just look past the scratch stuff. When you get a set like this, and it's just looks like it's been dragged through a wringer. I don't know. I don't know what Lego was thinking on packaging this stuff, but they need to start improving this because I'm not going to go lightly on the scores anymore. And I see 1 or 2 pieces. Yeah, I could look past that, but almost every one of these is pretty much has been really scuffed and pitted. Yeah, that's not really good. But nonetheless, though, it is a really good build experience. The build quality is pretty good. I just wish the set was packed better. But tell me what you think of the modern beach house.